everyone, Alex here with the Burke County Public Libraries. Bear with us for the next few months. For many of you that don't know, I am currently pregnant, and some of my appointments are kind of falling around the same days that Kim and I have our live for our Cook by the Book Recipe Club. So we're going to be trying a few things different. We're going to do some pre-recordings and then try to splice it together. We are not, Steven Spielberg, but we are going to get them together, but then we will still have them go live on the day that they're supposed to. So kind of for the next few months, you'll be seeing spliced together, probably actually cooking in our own kitchens. But this month is the last month that we'll be cooking together in the River Room. So thank you for joining us, and you guys have a really good one.
Hello, the recipe that I'm going to be doing today is from the Harry Potter College Cookbook. And the recipe is Professor Lupin's chocolate bonbons. The ingredients that you need are 7 ounces of baking chocolate, 3.5 ounces of butter, 3.5 ounces of powdered sugar, 1 egg, and 1 3/4 ounces of ground hazelnuts. I will tell you that I did use the egg in the ones I did at home, the chocolate ones. But then after I did, I'm like, this egg is raw in here. Like you mix it in. Like the chocolate is kind of hot when you mix it in. So then I started doing some research because I was like, is it safe to eat it? Because I didn't think about that. But you just and they say it is safe to eat it, but you could also substitute heavy whipping cream for the egg. It just makes it richer, is what it does, makes the chocolate richer. So today I'm going to be using some heavy whipping cream instead of the egg. Okay. So it says place a large cauldron full of water over low heat, which I don't have a cauldron, so we're just using a pan. With the help of a crushing spell, break the chocolate into large pieces and then cut the butter into cubes. I use white chocolate chips. I use dark chocolate chips for the ones I did a practice recipe. But I had these white chocolate chips already, so I thought I'm going to try the white chocolate and cut up my butter. And then let's see. Pour the chocolate and butter into a small cauldron, which we're using a glass bowl. And place on top of the larger one so the heat of the water can gently melt the butter and chocolate together. So, I have my water boiling, glass bowl with my chocolate and butter. The heat from the water will melt it gently. It will take a few minutes. So,
you're just making a double boiler.
Double boiler, yeah. I don't have a double boiler, so I'm using a pan and a bowl.
Something I feel like it's fancy schmancy that I should get one of these days.
Yeah. I don't know if you could do this in the microwave. I probably if you did it really slow, like 30 seconds, like you just kept and melting it. If sometimes chocolate in the microwave will scorch, so it's like you want to try it. So I'll just read the rest of the directions while this is melting a little bit. Is to stir regularly with your wand. I don't have a wand. I could have borrowed Cam's, my grandson's. I borrowed his wand, maybe. He wouldn't let me borrow it. But I'm just using a spoon. When the mixture is completely melted and warm, you pour it into another bowl. I think because your bowl is really hot, so you don't want to keep it in that bowl. And then you mix in your powdered sugar and your egg, which we're going to be doing the powdered sugar and our little bit of heavy whipping cream. It really does not take that long to melt. And you could use just blocks of baking chocolate, but since I had these already, I thought I would just use them.
Yeah, but you know what? I always thought chips melted easier than the blocks because they're smaller.
They're smaller, yeah. And then after you mix the powdered sugar and the egg or the heavy whipping cream, then you have to let it cool for 15 minutes. Um, I just stuck mine in the freezer, or you can stick it in the refrigerator. And then you will roll them into your bonbons, so whatever size you want to make. And then you will roll them in the crushed hazelnuts. So the hazelnuts I just stuck in the food processor for a few minutes to just make them like really thin crumbs. These are the chocolate ones.
Now, what are those
And
they use
these, I didn't really figure out exactly how much it is, but I used the sugar-free chocolate. Um, Butter is no carbs. Um, the whipping cream, eggs are no carbs, and the whipping cream is so just basically in the powdered sugar is the Swerve powdered sugar, so it doesn't have any carbs. So basically, it's the chocolate chips.
for? You just
You just have to count those. And like these white chocolate chips, they are like 2 carbs for a serving. So probably these are probably about, I'm not saying exactly, but they're probably about 2 to 3 carbs for one of these. But they're pretty big.
So then you could say the first
Yes. Or if you made them smaller, you can make them.
it's like a snack size
Right. I should have started this earlier. Almost all meld it together. Almost done. The butter just takes a little bit of time. And probably if you cut it up in a little bit smaller. And says that these bonbons can be kept for 3 days in the refrigerator, which is a sort of ice chest that non-magical people use. So that would be me. Yes, muggles, yes. And all of these recipes in this book are done like in the microwave or on like the stove. It's like dorm um, dorm room materials. Okay, so it's all melted. Put it into your other bowl. See, this is pretty hot. So when you do put the egg in, it does kind of, it kind of cooks it a little bit. I don't know. I just feel kind of weird about that. We'll add our powdered sugar. Just a little bit of our whipping cream. And it said that you really don't, if you're using butter, that you really don't even have to use the whipping cream because the butter makes it smooth enough. All right, so then you see, it's all just kind of mixed together. Now you stick it in the refrigerator freezer for 15 minutes, and then you will roll into your balls, whatever size you want, and then roll them in your nuts, and you have your chocolate bonbons.
No.
You're welcome to try these. These do have the egg in them, so I know you might not want to do that, so it's up to you. Okay, so up to you, Alex.
Hey everyone, I am doing Room of our Requirement pear and chocolate mug cake. Because obviously I like the good stuff. If my phone would listen to me. So, it's a simple ingredient. Kim mentioned earlier that the cookbook, it is a college cookbook. So a lot of the stuff is easy ways that a college kid or just somebody who doesn't have like they only have like a microwave or maybe like a one of those heating plates or something, they could do these type of recipes at home and still feel like they're, culinary, making something new, trying something different. I'm a huge fan of cakes in a mug. And normally I just buy those ones that they have at Dollar Tree, Walmart. I mean, all those play, and then all you're adding in is normally like water or something, and then boom, bam, you have a cake. So this one I kind of like because you're using some, I guess you could say, raw ingredients and basic ingredients. So I know obviously Kim's doing a lot of the keto, so I mean you could change things out. Like the sugar could be, substituted for something else. The even the chocolate kisses, if you found a certain chocolate, yeah, you'd be able to do a lot of different modifications. Another thing that I was just telling Kim, I already cooked my pears, if they're in there right there. But the for somebody who truly like didn't even want to get like raw or just didn't have the capabilities of being able to get fresh produce or something easily, I think you could use a fruit cup. If you got a fruit cup of pears that's in water, all you have to do is drain the water, and then that cup right there is, a one pear, so you'd be able to utilize it and substitute it, in my opinion. And this does get tender, but the ones in fruit cups are a lot tender because they've been sitting in those, like they've been tenderized. So the ingredient calls for two mugs. So I have the one mug that I cut that you cook just your pears in, and then you have your other mug that you do a whole bunch of other things. I used a slightly smaller mug at home. It was kind of a little bit narrower, and the other mug that I used to do everything was a little bit smaller than this. So you could probably play with the different mug sizes. To tell you the truth, I don't know if it necessarily matters. It was just these are what I had in my office that I keep here, so it was easier. And this one's obviously one of the Corningware soup ones, and so it actually has the lid. So you could actually probably do your. You only had one mug. All you'd have to do is you have to cook your pears first, then take them out. Maybe just wipe it down in this for a second because it does get sticky, and then go ahead and do it, and then merge all of your ingredients together. So it calls for ingredients say serves one courageous member of the order. It calls for one pear, 2 tablespoons water divided, um, 2 tablespoons granulated sugar divided, um, 3/4 ounce chocolate pieces, 2 tablespoons cornstarch, pinch of baking powder, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of milk, and 1 teaspoon of butter. So obviously, the handy dandy librarian that I am, I googled how much, a quarter, 3/4 ounce of chocolate pieces is because it calls for 21 grams. And I ended up cheating, and I bought the smaller ones so that they would melt a little bit faster. But these ones were actually calling for the normal size, and that's about what it is. And this is actually what turns it into chocolate, your cake into chocolate. So you start off with, since you're in the room of requirement, take advantage of the space and equipment available to you for cooking. So I guess this is our room of requirement, which actually we probably should start calling this the room of requirement because we really do use our river room. It's our biggest meeting room out of both locations, and this is what we do everything in. So, a true room of requirement with some muggles, here doing this. Rinse the pear, peel it, and then with the sharpest knife you can find or your wand and a chopping charm, slice it into small half-inch pieces. So you'll see, oh my God, I'm going to need your thingy. I just completely spilled all my milk. I'm a hot mess today, peeps. So we're going to substitute milk for whipping cream, and we're going to see how that turns out today, guys. Oh, boy. I have the other one over here. Can't take me anywhere. Breathing heavy, like it's just rough. Okay, so once you do your pairs, word to the wise, and Kim just watched it. We did get a little bit of magical bubbles going on at the top of it. It bubbles. Um, I think you could probably adjust the heat level of your microwave, but then I'm thinking, well, no, that's actually probably what it needs to do. So what I did was I put a napkin down to kind of catch some of the overflow, because you only put a tablespoon of water, but it goes everywhere in your microwave. So you'll just have to know that you'll have to just wipe down your inner microwave because it'll be, beaded with condensation and stuff. And you need your microwave still. So I made sure, like, it's clean in between uses, obviously, so you're always ready to go. So now that the pear is done, really what you're going to do is you're going to, in your other mug, you're going to take your chocolate chips, and then you're going to take the remaining of the water, which is a tablespoon of water, and you mix that in the microwave for 30 seconds. So I'm going to try to pause you guys while we're cooking, and then I'll come back. Okay, like magic, the chocolate chips are all ready to go. I pull it out, and literally, if you just mix it around, you're going to get this. It almost just looks like a soupy mix of chocolate. So that's ready to go. So now, what you start doing is you start adding your ingredients. So you add your remaining sugar, your cornstarch, baking powder, and it's a pinch of baking powder. So pretty much what I did to prepare today, I put the cornstarch and then the pinch already in with it. The egg, milk, butter. Duck your head to avoid any spells with unfortunate trajectories, and whisk vigorously with my stupid phone, stirring charm until the mixture has a uniform texture. Then you add the pears, you mix it again, and then you cook the mixture for 2 minutes in the microwave and enjoy with friends hidden safely in the secret room. I don't know what it's talking about because I'm not sharing this with anybody. So it even says it's for one person, so I guess you'd have to be really nice and you'd have to make some for your friends. So I'm adding all of my separate ingredients I was just talking about. My butter, the whipping cream that Kim thankfully had, or we would just been going with it. Yeah. Put that there. I'm already making a mess. We're good to go. And then I do have small baby whisks, and I was going to use that. But to tell you the truth, with my spoon, I was able to get it, or a fork would probably be able to break down the cornstarch and the eggs a lot quicker. But it mixes relatively quick. I realized when I was eating it last night, it was a little dense. Um, my portions could have been off, like, mixing stuff in with it. But it actually was good, and it does give you that kick of like a little bit of decadence. It's still actually, and I have whipped cream at home, but then I was like, you know what? Let me just try it out first. So I might be making this again tonight because there's pears left on from home, and I'm going to be putting it on. So you'll see, because the chocolate was already warm, it really does turn into like a soupy mix. I would say it No, because the heavy whipping cream is even thicker. So I don't think it's changed the consistency. And I haven't even added, make sure. Oh no, we're good. My delicious. No, it's cornstarch, baking powder, sugar, egg, milk, water, butter, pear. It's the same thing. I'm thinking that it's the cornstarch is the thing that holds it. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna pause it again, and I'll show you the finished project. All right, so it's 9 in the morning, and I'm gonna be eating chocolate cake when it cools down a little bit. But it turns into, what did you say? It's like a jiggly.
Yeah, it's not like.
It's a dense, jiggly cake. If that makes sense.
If you dump that out, you could probably slice it.
Yeah,
Then you could share with your friends.
if yeah, if you wanted to share with your friends. But it does take up the whole cup. So if you're, this is a big one. When it was cooking in the microwave, it was rising. And then I'm assuming that if you make it in a smaller cup, it's going to rise a little bit. It might seem like it's about to come over, but it'll settle back down because this was big. And as soon as the heat stopped sapping it, it went down. The mug's a little hot right now, and then kind of settled. And then you can see that there's a lot of room, so it is jiggling. Whereas if it's actually in the mug itself, it might be the whole mug. And I'm surprised because the different ones that I've made at home that are from the mixes, it sticks. It's in your mug.
Yeah.
Like you're scraping off the side. Don't get me wrong, you're scraping off the side too, but it's almost like I didn't even.
That, I think you could dump it out.
Yeah, I didn't even like put any butter in the thing or not, but it almost is like a nice little thing where you could do it. So yeah, any of that type of stuff. But it's just it is a jiggly dense cake. And if you're looking for something that's quick, easy, and especially here on college campuses, you sometimes don't have access. I mean, the only way that I could get my college did have a bus, but then it only ran during certain times during the day, and you could run to like the Walmart and everything. But if you wanted like eggs or milk or something, you had to go off campus to the corner to where there was a gas station. So if you don't do there, and if you don't do what we used to do, like take a mug or something and fill it with milk, like in a thermos, and then walk out with it, you could potentially get some of your ingredients from your dining hall, even though it's not 100% kosher with them. But like, if you needed a quick egg, but if you buy like one of the 6 dozen, do you really need all 6 eggs? So it would be perfect if you went in with friends, you all had your own mugs, you all made your stuff, because some of the stuff you could buy at like a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree or whatever, and then have it in your room, and it's like the cornstarch is not going to go bad that quick, like baking powder. If you got fruit cups, the only thing that would be perishable is the milk and the eggs.
You think you could use like
Yeah, I would assume because it would have to be whatever you just might have to play around with it. Yeah, so if you had the cartons of eggs, those ones last sometimes a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's your perishable. And then maybe if you don't have milk, you use more water or you just have to play around a little bit with it. And this is the recipe book. I showed it a little bit earlier. But it is the Harry Potter's College Cookbook. There is a lot of really good things. I took a whole bunch of pictures of stuff. Um, and then we finally came to, they even have Umbridge's pink pasta, which for Italian people who eat traditional Italian would probably cringe if they saw this. But if you're literally, you want some pasta, you just want something quick and easy, you're on the college budget, you don't want to do the ramen noodle diet, like this like has some things that you can do. And I won't say that this is completely inexpensive. It depends on the ingredients that you're buying for some of them, but the pasta one, I think it calls for pasta. I can't even remember what you use. You use something slightly different than like a jar of pasta sauce. You use something else for it. So, I mean, all that stuff, if you were able to get to the store one day, you'd be able to stock up ahead of time, and that stuff's not perishable. The stuff you were using, aside from the heavy whipping cream, not as perishable. And those all come in small containers, so if you're working with a small dorm room fridge, yeah, you'll be able to store that stuff. So thanks for joining us today. Hopefully this new way that we're kind of splicing it together makes volume potentially a little bit better, but we're going to play with it over the next few months. And then hopefully sometime by the end of this year, mid to end of the year, we potentially might be able to have a class back in here um, with potentially people, or Kim and I will be back here to do it. So thanks for joining us and have a great day.